Dear friends, DigiU is here with you. Miss Alexey Ognev is here with you. This is our first webinar in 2022. I'm happy to greet everybody. We're always there with you in several languages: English, Spanish, French, and Italian, and Russian, of course. Please write your questions in the chat. Today we will answer the most interesting questions and I will disclose the very interesting information about the most urgent topics. Please write where in the world you are and tell us what you think, and tell us what you think about the modern technologies and share your experience. Today we will speak about the areas of development of our company in this year. We have already written about that, and I will give you a sort of an overview of our plans, which we have already told you about at our conference, and about the news which we have shared with you in our posts in the social media. We will discuss that, of course, and also we will cover some topics. We will cover some plans, some of our plans, what we want to do. There are several areas of development we would like to work in, and this is the first thing we're dealing with is artificial intelligence, blockchain, venture funds, and of course finance. This is what we do, and this is what we earn from. This is DigiU Wealth and DeFi. This is what we are going to discuss today. We will also cover our partners program, our affiliate program, DigiU Partners, and we will see where we are going to move this year, and we'll cover some other topics which are also very important. Well, first of all, the first thing is our plans and the areas we are going to develop into artificial intelligence. As we have already mentioned at our conference, mentioned by Peter, Facebook was a great surprise in terms of the metaverse it launched. And for us as a company, we started research in 2019, which started the respective research, and this is also reflected in our roadmap. It is an obvious sign for us that what we announced back in 2019 for our partners and all the things we were talking about a year ago, and our vision we created back at that time finds confirmation not only with us, but also with such companies as Facebook and some other companies, and they also start creating metaverse. Metaverse is the common term. For us, it is a medium where digital twins can exist, can exchange, can act, can earn money, can do something, can interact with each other. And as I have already mentioned, for us, this is one of the priority areas. We are going to do the research in this area, and we are going to work on the digital copy of a person, which soon, in the very near future, really the very near future, will enter our lives, and it will be our supplement, or it will be our copy, or it will be our substitute, maybe. As we think, it will definitely improve our lives. Our inventors, of course, will tell you that this is what they do. Our team is continuing the research in this area. And if you follow our webinars, if you watch the videos in our YouTube channels, as we have already mentioned, we also work with predictive analytics, and this improves the predictive models for commercial application. But currently, they are already used in algorithmic trade, and we still test. The industrial robots are tested, and these robots, what they do is they predict some analytical data. And in the very near future, we're going to present the first product that you will just feel, you will be able to feel or try, and you will have a chance to use it. And it can be a product that will supplement our ecosystem, and it will be also one of the ways to get incomes. This is only a concept. Now I'm sharing the concept, but when we have the product, of course, there will be a detailed presentation of the product. The next area where we are working. This is DigiU Wealth. We have already shared the information. We have already written that we are working on the issue of special certificates that you will be able to buy with any licensed broker, and you can use your traditional money, fiat, so-called fiat money. You can invest with your fiat money into DeFi. Maybe some of you or many of you don't really understand what I'm talking about, but this is one of the priority products. This can be a pioneer product, but we will implement that within the next 2 months. And with any licensed broker, you will be able to get a special certificate, and you can invest for the users of our DigiU system. It will be an additional opportunity to allocate your funds and to get profits in the decentralized finances. Now we frequently come across that people do not always understand how they can do that. It is still an issue. It is still a challenge for many people now in 2022. This is not yet a mass product, which it is destined to become in the near future, but as soon as this demand arises on a certain market, the demand, which means that more people would like to get into a certain area, we always offer the solution, and such solutions are always commercially successful. So we have been working on this product starting from the previous year, and it means that DigiU Wealth will have more areas and there will be more people who can get profits. And of course, the amount of dividends and the number of opportunities will also grow. Now, I would like to remind you that 50% of our profits is our dividends. We have paid out for the third time. We have already paid the dividends. We paid out the dividends in the end of the previous year, and I'm really proud of that. And the number of the shareholders is increasing as well, and this is very inspiring both for our partners and for our team. And of course, the whole ecosystem is working on that. The next area is what is extremely interesting, what is the focus of attention for our partners, but also for the whole world, basically cross-chain. This is cross-chain. As you know, one of the very rare projects existing in the world is our cross-chain data protocol AWA. And this is a really very rare product now. And this is basically ready. This is nearly ready for launching. We are finishing the alpha testing already. Maybe it will finish within the next 3 months or maybe later, but the product is actually ready, and very soon it will be launched into mainnet. And this is one of our goals, and this is one of the goals of this project. So follow our news. Every day, basically, we publish some news in our social media, in AWA social network, in AWA account, and we always write that we have new partners, and we have one more hackathon. The hackathon took place in India, and we're one in the list of the top 40 products and projects, and this is an evidence of the high quality of our product, of the products we launch and we produce. And this also shows that this product is really demanded on the market, and we are really proud of the fact of that. And I'm always so proud to share the information about AWA. And in December, there was a webinar with our Boris, with the technical information CEO, and we share the very detailed information of the news and of the perspectives which will happen this year. If you haven't yet taken part in alpha testing of AWA, or if you want to do that, you still have a chance to do that. Now there is basically 100,000, there are 100, close to 100,000 people who have already done that, and the contribution of each of them is really important for the whole ecosystem. And our ability to organize such large-scale processes deserves attention, first of all, because it is a clear evidence, it is one more evidence of our professional level, of our professional skills. When you enter the chat, there are thousands of messages, and our technical support is always able to answer the questions. And in the near future, there will be more news about partnerships with such top projects. We have some top projects. We already got some grants, and we will share this information very soon. And as far as I know, there are really interesting news related to different expos and the other events. And I believe that our developments in AI will allow us to visit some top events which will happen this year, and where we will be able to share our information, to show, to represent, to present our project. The next piece of news is our plans related to venture funds. We already published several posts about that, and there were several surveys, and the audience is really welcoming and supportive, and this information seems to be really interesting for them, and they ask a lot of questions. People ask thousands of questions in the chat, and they ask when we will present our concept. This is not the venture fund of our DigiU ecosystem, and which helps different startups and different teams to develop AWA, but we speak about the fund, the venture fund, which will be a separate product, a separate concept. We have already mentioned that in different posts and in different conferences and webinar, and this project will allow our investors and partners to invest into separate projects and to get profits from the development of those projects. Of course, everything is related to high tech and projects like DeFi and cross-chain and so on and so forth, as we of course have really good expertise in these areas, and these are the areas which allow us and you to get the fastest possible feedback. So we do not test them for years. We understand that we have to do it fast because we know the certain area, the very area where we have to work, and within 2 or 3 years, or maybe even within a shorter period, we have the result. We see the profits, and at the first stages, it will be the priority of this fund. And this is the area, the project, which is now just a concept. We are working on the concept of it, and in the near future we will share more details about that with Alexander E, for example, who will participate in one of our coming webinars. And when we pronounced this idea and we started to get lots of positive feedback, loads of positive feedback, both in Russia or in Russian, in the Russian language, and from the other countries. And we understood right away that it is a really very sensible, very sensitive area. And we as experts have to pay attention to that. And it requires your participation because you can be the co-owners and you can get profits from that. And we can change together, we can change the world to make it better. The next area is our partners, our work with partners. We are increasing the network of our partners, of our investors, and all these people contribute to our promotion. And the number of leaders is increasing, and there are over 1,000 licensed leaders. And we understand that this concept that we selected back in 2021 gives good results now. And we see that it is demanded, it is what people want, it is what people need. People are happy to work with us, to work with our partner, our affiliate program. And we have more and more leaders who help us develop the project. And also promo campaigns. In the end of the previous year, we got some promo campaigns and they gave us good results. And we saw that actually some people got all the prizes, and step by step it moves us forward, and we're moving forward pretty fast actually. Such promo campaigns will happen again and again, and this is also a good contribution to our development. In DigiU Partners, we mostly describe that. We have already announced the regional promo campaigns, and which will allow you to get valued prizes, high value prizes, and maybe to learn a new job. And this is all interrelated because the products that we launch, that we offer to our audience, and the opportunities that you get, they of course are tested by our partners first of all, and the feedback that we get is really very nice for us, very good for us. And all this taken together allows us and you to get those results. Within just 2 years of existence, the project has such a turnover, such an amazing, fantastic turnover, that we can pay dividends. And there are products which are potential unicorns that can basically change the markets. And all this is really inspiring, and this is thanks to the vector of our development that we chose back in 2019. And we're going to continue this, of course. And now let us start with the questions. Maybe I have already not covered some of the topics, but I will try to cover them as the answers, as the replies to your questions. Well. Now first I will read the questions in the Russian chat in YouTube. If you are watching us in YouTube, please write your questions. And then I will look at the questions from the other chats. So please write your questions. I will answer the most interesting questions. Well, what do you think about Thor? Is it possible to cooperate with them? It is better to ask this question at our next webinar, because there will be our Boris who will be able to answer that. A cooperation with any projects which have ecosystem is positive for us, but it should be the projects which already have some technological developments, and they should be demanded. Of course, we're only positive about that, and you see that we have partnership with Harmony and many others. Actually, I'm only positive about that, but you will learn more about that from Boris and his team because they are analyzing that. Because they analyze that and they understand much better where we can have partnership or where we have no. How can you guarantee the safety of the data? Because banks always disclose the data or the data are hacked. This question is not really clear from the point of view of safety. Our infrastructure. So last year we created a cluster of data safety because, of course, everything corresponds to the latest standards. Yeah, please formulate your question better. Maybe we will answer your question. Maybe our technical support will be able to answer your question. And this is, of course, about all the technical issues you can apply, you can address to our technical support, a team which are always ready to answer the questions. They always answer the questions quickly, and the questions can be really different because if you're worried about some technical details or about some other things, please address your question to the technical support. Why, with each month, the interest rate gets less? If Bitcoin is 100,000 or 10,000, how does it correlate with the rate? Well, we are now not speaking about the assets. To understand, for your understanding, why the profits get lower, but still the profits are high. 30% of interest rates in US dollars that the product gives without any risks is actually very high income profitability. And exactly that's why there is an opportunity to allocate this product with the licensed brokers. Because this product is now offered not only at the level of blockchains or partners programs or affiliate programs, but with the licensed brokers. And you can believe me, the profitability is really high, especially if you compare that with the other instruments. DigiU Wealth is a product that last year, we launched it last year. Oh, no, not last year, but in 2020. And it was only possible because there was the market of DeFi, the DeFi market. And the goal of that market was to attract liquidity, to attract users. And that's why some projects arose where the profitability was high on the basis of our risk management. And thanks to our analysts whose task is to analyze the products and projects, and they decide if we will take part in that or not. Obviously, the DeFi finances, if they attract liquidity and people and new users, the profitability gets higher. Of course, when there are some regulators, some authorities which now take part in this process, the profitability gets lower. But this is the same with the conventional markets, the conventional stock exchanges. But now the profitability, the profits you can have is still very high. And this level of income, this correlation of income and the reliability and safety, it has no analogs on the market. So study that, analyze that, and well, decide if you should use some instruments or not. When you know this topic better, you will understand it better. Yes, well, we mentioned several times. Now the question is about the buyback. Some part of the profit goes to buyback. We're going to do buyback, of course. Now we don't have the dates. It will be the process that many of you want, many of you don't want that. But of course, we will share this information with you. We will announce the buyback and you will be able to take a decision, because not all partners have understanding if they want to sell or if they don't want to sell, when they want to sell. Of course, this option will exist. For a company that has some superb plans, we understand, of course, that the company will do better if it buys the shares back. But you should also understand, you must also understand, of course, how demanded this procedure is and what we want to do with that. Do we want to reduce the number of our shares, the registered securities with our partners? We don't have this task, this goal. We have already 20 billions of shares at that stage of crowd investing, and approximately, if we say they were sold or given, something like 150 millions or 170 million, so approximately 1%, less than 1%. But still, they allowed us, this is what allowed us to get perfect results, so good results. And buyback will be a certain marketing tool for us, if we explain it in simple terms. If it is reasonable for us, we don't yet know. Of course, it will be, because we have already announced that and we always do what we promise. But we must understand how many shares we want to buy back and how many partners actually want to sell their shares back to us. Where can you get the information? The terms of the DigiU Wealth program. The full terms are in your personal account. You just visit your personal account, go to DigiU Wealth, and there is a webinar about the specifics of our work and with figures and the profitability in months. If something is not clear, you can ask your questions in the chats and with our technical support. If you need some additional information, please ask your questions. Possible, how can sanctions influence the project? Yes, of course, such questions happen. The political environment, the political atmosphere, the international. We launched our project in 2019, and some people used to ask this question back then. But basically, we are in the same information field, if you can call it like that, and all the international collapses are taken into account. Of course, nobody could have imagined the pandemics, which influenced us, of course, but the other things are taken into account. And I can assure you, we deal with technologies that are demanded and that do not really depend on the political situation. And now we'll go to the questions from the international chats. Well, French, from the French chat. Is it possible to sign partner relations with the local companies? Of course, this is translated, maybe not too accurate. With the local companies in Africa, what is meant is perhaps the companies that deal with modern technologies in Africa. And, well, of course, this is very personal, this is customized here. We frequently get questions about affiliate relations from venture funds and things like that. Sometimes we really partner, and it is, of course, customized always. And you must, I think, write us. You must contact us either via the technical support or personally to me, and we can discuss that. Do you plan to open offices in different countries? Is it about Africa? But I would speak not only about Africa. We have several national representatives now in different countries, in Latin America, in Africa, in Asia, Vietnam, Indonesia, India. And in all those countries, the partners act differently. Of course, mostly they deal with promotion, they increase financing, they attract financing because this is what we need for our development. And the partner is free to choose his or her style of work. Some of them need the offices, some of them don't really need the office. But basically, the pandemic has changed the market a lot. And you don't actually always need an office. And of course, it will depend on the situation. First of all, it should be necessary. We have already covered the matter last year. We discussed that we need to visit those countries because we see that there is lots of activity in Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Latin America, in some African countries, and in some European countries. Everywhere people want to see us, everywhere people want to meet us personally. And we have this affiliate program, and of course, it is the most efficient to interact personally, to shake hands. We are planning official visits. So last year, for example, some partners did come to Russia, and it might be some of the prizes, one of the prizes, the promo visit to our DigiU office. And this personal meeting can be one of the prizes or one of the events. Is it possible to invest with a Visa card? Yeah, of course. We're always working on the improvement of the payment systems. We're always adding some other payment systems. You can use cryptocurrency, you can use perfect money, and you can of course use the bank cards. Sometimes it depends on the country. Now the cards act differently. But you always have the leaders you can always apply to, and there is always technical support which will help you to solve those issues. And of course, we are trying to attract more payment systems. One of the important questions. We have heard that in Russia they can prohibit cryptocurrency. What happens to DigiU in this case? Well, last week it was a really topical news, it was very urgent news, it was a burning news, and it was related to the conference held by our central bank, and it shared some concepts or ideas about cryptocurrency. But now it is actually very easy to make people excited, really excited, if an international and official representative says something. So today or yesterday, maybe the president of our country came up with an announcement. Why should it happen? Because in Russia there is really serious position in terms of mining, and we have lots of power, energy, and of course, it is obvious even to the president of our country that prohibition, ban, is not discussed. Yes, it is discussed how they should regulate, how should they control this area. So you should not be really worried about that. If you follow our news in the European Union, our development is registered within the European Union, so you should be actually uh, relaxed about that, and you can actually study our ecosystem. The metaverse, the question of the metaverse, I think there will be a separate webinar about that. Now, I will just say that now the metaverse is just a word which is at a certain level, which is really trendy, but we are speaking about a deeper research of this market, which was started in 2019, where we started to create the digital copy of a person. But now, step by step, we're collecting the data, and you can see it. We have the DigiU.Vision and predictive analytics and so on. Of course, there will be a separate series of posts and webinars, and there will be lots of news about that, so just follow our news. But now, of course, it will be not possible to disclose this topic, especially if you haven't read our concept. So please get acquainted with that first. Yes, now I'll look at the Russian chat once again. Do you plan to decentralized stock exchanges? Yeah, this again is a question because people do not really fully understand the project. I will mention again. Last year, maybe in March or maybe earlier, we registered the company in the European Union. We issued our registered securities, which received an ISIN. And this is actually, as we operate, try to make our product easier to access, this is an ideal tool to become a co-owner, a legal co-owner of our ecosystem. Decentralized stock exchanges, they currently, at the current stage of our development, it has no sense for us. It makes no sense for us because we have a certain analog in the real sector. Some products, maybe, if they correspond, if it is demanded, if it is required, maybe they will be registered within DeFi stock exchanges. Maybe I have answered your question. I think I'll have answered your question. It is good, of course, that you ask those questions. This, I'm really happy that you do. When will alpha testing, AVA testing be over? It's hard for me to say because it's a big project, but we're going to be in mainnet somewhere in March or April this year. But as the project is big, and of course it has a really big infrastructure, and this testing, the testing of different options and features will be longer, of course, will take longer. And so it's actually not possible to finish the testing in IT. But again, in terms of entering mainnet, it will happen in March or April. Now you can check with our AWA social media and you can check it there. Well, I think it was a really interesting webinar, and I think I have even answered all the questions. So every year, in the beginning, of the respective year, we publish the plan of our development, our achievements, and each of our partners can analyze everything we planned, what we have achieved, and what we are to achieve, and what we are planning to achieve. And if you take the decisions regarding our project, thanks to our posts in the social media, it is really easy to check something. Yesterday, we published the post, the respective post, and we published the ways the prices for our shares will increase. So now each of you has a two-stage plan of the price exchange. In the end of this month, the price will increase up to 18 cents and then up to 20 cents. So 25% increase as compared to the current price. And the number of bonuses will decrease. And this is very important. We have lots of bonuses. But we understand that there should not be so many. But within the coming 2 months, each of you can purchase the package of our registered securities at the price of 16 cents and with the maximum number of bonuses. So please take your decision as soon as possible. Study the ecosystem, share the information about it, purchase the access to our affiliate program, use our DigiU Wealth product, take part in our alpha testing, and try to understand the modern technologies. If you don't do that now, if you do this now, in a couple of years, you will be a successful person as compared to those who don't do that. You will be actually more prosperous than 99% of people on this globe. Thank you for this meeting. Thank you for your questions. Please share this webinar with your friends. Please register with our ecosystem. Please purchase our registered securities. And please study the modern technologies. Thank you and goodbye.